Hello, welcome to Breakfast Central on a Friday. Thank God it's Friday, they say. We're happy that we made it to the end of the week. Quite an eventful week. A number of things have happened and are still happening, and this is the best place to start your day. So you've made one right decision today by tuning into DSTV channel 422 to join us here on Breakfast Central, where we bring you the latest news, information, and insightful analysis on all the news that matters. I am Benga Aboroa.
It's good to be back, Benga, and it's good to be here as well. You know,
Yes,
and unfortunately, we were just two on set today, so we're saying good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Central. A lot, like Benga said, has happened from extension of the olive branch in the Nigerian National Assembly between two major names. I'm talking about the Senate President, President Godswill Akpabio, and not forgetting to Senator Natasha Akpoti-Odogwa. That's a conversation we're going to have later on in the course of the show. Plus, you can be part of the program on a Friday, because Fridays, the phone lines will definitely be opened and we'll let you in on being part of it, especially the time when the phone lines are opened. In the meantime, the latest stories will be discovered and will be talked about here. And sad news, especially for those who lost their lives, Benga, yesterday.
Yes, at the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Yeah. Sad. 8 lives lost. That's
very sad.
That's a lot.
Very
unavoidable too. So a terrible, terrible situation. But you're welcome. And in the spirit of Breakfast Central, you know the drill. We always open up with wake-up conversations. And this is, we've not even reached the period of prophesying, and we wait till the end of the year for New Year predictions. But this man seems to have one up. What's the story, Joe?
Okay, so the story simply is a so-called prophet. Let me use that word. So-called prophet. His name is Aliyu Barnabas, and he has a so-called church. What he did was he
gave a so-called prophecy.
He gave a so-called prophecy. And in that so-called prophecy, he said that a giant fintech company by the name, I mean, for purpose of this story, we need to use the name, said OPay, will indeed crash, will collapse. And he warned sternly that people should ensure that they either you take your money or something. He was so poised.
Yeah, I saw that video.
Yeah, he was saying, do this, do that.
With full confidence.
Full confidence. He said he saw the vision. He did this, he did that. And he talked about that so much so that it got a lot of persons talking. But I want to be sure that we do have the videos. And if we do, we'd like to take the very first video. And let's see what that prophecy looked like.
That so-called prophecy.
Yeah.
They go say they get what happened for OPay. Everybody lost all money for bank. No OPay, they call them OPay. If you are here or anywhere they watch me about the wallet now, anywhere they watch me like now, just into best case study. I'm talking OPay. I never talk what not happen. Yes, sir. It come today, come tomorrow. OPay is about close. And OPay is a ritual. I know say some people after they post that, some go insult me. And okay, after he insult me, now go see the result. Yes, sir. Now go see the result. I'm stuck OPay. OPay is about close. I see serious case for OPay, and the OPay later close. Nobody, many people lost money, many cry. And when you go see the action from December to January, you go see the action. But for next year, you go see this man in talk. I am Prophet Barnabas, the land all nation. As I know, I give prophecy concern OPay. I no get attention to spoil any person business. I am sorry, if that professor prophesy, if he spoil any person business, I'm not just proposed to prophesy. Now what God sent to do? I'm sorry if that prophecy in Jesus' name pray. Shalom. You are blessed in Jesus' name. Let love lead.
I would like to advise him to keep his so-called shalom and face the consequences of his actions.
It didn't shock me.
You know, a few moments later.
A few moments later. Wait. What's going on? Wait. You prophesied. Later, you say you are sorry. So the prophecy
you
is
didn't
fake.
mean to spoil somebody's business.
That means the prophecy is fake.
I guess so. No. Or it's a conditional prophecy.
It's a fake prophecy. Because if it was real, would you apologize? I mean, the prophets of old that we've read
never
about,
apologize.
they tell you this will happen.
And they go to bed to
It
sleep.
doesn't matter who works is God or works, it will happen. So they shake you small. You know, if I were the fintech company, I would sue him.
Yes, and examples need to be made out of
I would sue him. I'll
Not
ensure
everything
that,
is content. And
I'll ensure that he visits, he appears in court for more than the number of days he can ever
I
imagine.
mean, and beyond court, I think some of these people need some form of mental evaluation
I agree.
to check, because you can't just wake up one day out of the blue in the name of, you got a spiritual hunch that you begin to prophesy that someone's business, a multi-billionaire business that have been built with sweat, that is CBN registered, that is insured by the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Company, is going to fail. I mean, who does that? You're hurting their business. And I can imagine how far these videos have circulated. And the worst thing is the apology videos never, and the retraction videos, they never make it as far as the original. So an example should be made out of this. Prophet Barnabas, a so-called prophet.
I agree, and I think if I were the fintech company, I think this is the time for you to use this as an example. We also have to be very careful. Africa is so vulnerable, and I say Africa because we still live like we are in the medieval times. We're so vulnerable when it comes to, especially if you come down to this side of the country, I'd say West Africa, yeah, there's also East Africa. Remember Kenya's story and so on?
And even just yesterday, I believe it was in Malawi, there's a prophet that they said he hasn't eaten anything in 7 years. He just drinks water, and he plans to eat in 2056.
Okay.
And how is that biologically possible?
Baba is hiding inside the room and taking small account.
Proponents of religion will say, no, it's his belief. He's not hurting anyone. So we have to respect him. Somebody that will go and eat akamu and
press more pizza inside belly and they come outside.
In the morning, he'll be acting meek.
Listen, if you're watching this show this morning, I think we need to be very careful when it comes to what is faith and what is not. If a man of God claims, remember we also saw a pastor who came out and said, did he talk about Chelsea or who? Talked about the World Cup, how the clubs would lose, and Chelsea. And as soon as he failed in that prophecy, he disappeared.
Then it's not even their business.
It's not even
there are bigger things that are happening in this world. There are wars, there are life and death issues, there's healthcare, and prophets and these so-called men of God decide to go into the sporting arena. And are they into betting? I mean, why are you predicting football games?
You look at, you say sports betting today.
Of what use is it?
I think Arsenal will win. Is that your job?
Exactly.
But then again, we'd like to see what Nigerians are saying about this. I did see a few comments during his first video when Nigerians were warning against his speech. They said you have to be very careful with these things you're saying, because when they come at
backlash,
you, are you sure you'd be able? When the fintech company comes directly, when they come on, are you sure you're going to handle it? If they come at you, are you sure you can handle it? And then again, we now saw the apology video, and the apology video is, for goodness sakes, the most horrible thing I have seen. You're trying to retract a speech or a statement, and then you say your words were taken out of context. It was misunderstood. What do you mean by it was misunderstood? Does a prophet speak with both sides of the mouth?
Clear terms.
You know, sometimes, Benga, I wish I could meet these prophets one-on-one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no, serious. I always look forward to it. I wish, like,
they should explain
maybe if he's watching, we'd like to have you on the show. Because
methodology.
I'm sure by the time you sit here, there are many questions I'm going to ask you, and so on. Anyway, OPE did reply. They said, hi, Chooks Eric. I'm sure Chooks Eric had showed them the video and pointed to them what someone had said, and they say, thank you for contacting OPE. Kindly be informed that the circulating video by the said Prophet Ali Barnabas of Mercy and Grace Deliverance Ministry is false and misleading. Our legal team, I like that, is taking action. Thank you.
They are taking legal steps.
Yes, legal steps. I'm sure we received the letter.
Barnabas, prepare your lawyers.
Lord, you saw those people behind him that were saying, go on, Papa, fire. They would have run away. Somerville says he will provide proof of that message
From heaven. Whether it's by email.
from heaven.
SMS.
Whether it's by mail, SMS, or recorded message. Why lie with the name of our God? It's normal. We see that a lot, and that's pathetic. Hadiza friend says OPE needs to come and address this ASAP. Nigerians are religious people, and they take messages from the church and the mosques very seriously. If OPE doesn't want panic withdrawals, they should get the illegal team ready. And they've done that already, like in the first tweet we did see. Peter Montana says, this is the funniest video I've seen this week. This man better change his business. I enter comedy.
I agree.
God, leave everything now. Pay my time for review to you. Samuel Leach. As in, thank you.
Exactly.
As if God doesn't have anything important to do. I want you to talk about it.
Yes.
Come on. It says, OPE should not allow this fraud to go unpunished. They have used God's name to fake so many things and destroy so many, as well as in the name of prophecy. God told him nothing, and I agree with you, absolutely nothing. Mr. Bongo says, Oluwatosi or Daring Day says, these people need to be arrested. Anyways, I am a Christian and still remain a Christian, but the liberty to just wake up and start church is the problem of the church. Most of these people didn't go through training. Some that didn't even understand Christianity. Funny. That's from Oluwatosi.
I think the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria.
I just want to beg, don't be angry before you bring it up. Can we play that his apology video again, please?
Yes.
I think that would be the video of the week for me, if you ask me. But please, let's just play that video again. I want to really hear his apology.
To spoil any person business. I am sorry, if that professor will prophesy, if he spoil any person business, I'm not just proposed to prophesy. Now what did God send me to do? I'm sorry if that prophecy did that in Jesus' name. Pray. Shalom. You are blessed in Jesus' name. Let love lead. God bless you.
Shalom, my brother.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Yes.
Let love lead. Which love?
Love of spoiling other people's hard work and business. Love that is wicked.
Love is wicked. Brick and lace. It's Friday edition of Breakfast.
You know, I mean, so on a serious note, I think the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria and the Christian Association of Nigeria need to step up and self-regulate, because you won't want the government to step in. It would cause a lot of hula baloo, because there are people that just wake up and say they got a calling. They have dragged Christianity. It's almost like a joke. You see videos every day. You're making a mockery of God. You know, you see videos of people body slamming, you know, lying, saying that this hand was shorter.
Oh, I did
insulting our intelligence.
I did a video on that, and I think, I mean, I'm talking to our producers now as well. I think we should do a special on that.
Yeah.
The fake miracles. It's a special package, a special report. It's an insider story. There's a lady, you know that lady that always extends her hand, that it will become long. She's been to
different churches.
4 to 5 different churches, performing the same. She's an artist. You know, they pay her fee, artist fee, stage performance. She will do. They say, nice one. Backstage, you did well. Take your money.
Yeah, so, I mean, they need to step in and do something about it, and also protect vulnerable Nigerians. But let's move on to our next story.
Most definitely. So our next story is about a teen who did put out a video that we found to be very interesting and also addresses the societal issues in the country. Now, the video we're about to show to you, it shows a very young girl in Nigeria talking about the opportunities that lie in wait for teenagers. You may be one of those in Nigeria who's wondering why there is so much increase or rise in insecurity. Moral values are dropping like a pack of cards, and the youths are indeed wandering the streets thinking and hoping that they will be able to get something to indeed latch on. And in the process, like Benga just said, they're picking up vices that would indeed turn around to affect each society, community, and the country as a whole. But in this video, this very young teenager addresses a very critical situation that we think it's ripe and enough for us to bring to Wake Up Conversations. Take a look.
I really wish there were more opportunities for Nigerian teenagers to make money. I wish there were summer jobs. I wish there were part-time jobs that you could do for like 6 months or more or less and just earn a little cash. I wish there were jobs like, you know, in European countries, you can work in the summer, you can work in coffee shops as a receptionist, any of those things to make a little cash when you have a little break. I wish there were opportunities for Nigerians to make money like that also, because it's the Nigerian job market is it's so weird. Because I'm even wishing for Nigerian teenagers to get money, and there are currently a lot of unemployed people in their 30s and 20s. So who is going to employ us when people in their 30s and 20s have not been employed? It's actually so silly.
And I'm going to say this, not to mean it in a different way, but I love her ability to speak up and make clear points. I appreciate that video so much. It struck a strong part of me when she said in foreign countries you could pick up a summer job, and that is true. And then she mentioned people in their 30s and 20s not having jobs, and she's absolutely correct. That girl, Rhea, I think that's a handle on TikTok. Thank you so much for putting out that video. And we do hope that that video can actually get across to those at the top so they can really start to understand what it is. Benga, just to quickly mention before you drop in your own points, when I saw that video, a lot came through, and I started thinking that truly she's right. If you are in the UK, if you're in the United States, there are summer jobs you can actually get. Yes, you could go in as maybe, especially the hospitality industry is like the highest employer of labor. So you could go in and say, okay, I want to be in the front office where you could work
the sort
as a
of jobs
bartender.
you would do are
Exactly.
not highly skilled.
No.
Yeah,
And you're trained in the process. So you come in and say, okay, fine, we're going to teach you the art of either bartending, service, and so on and so forth. They put you through these trainings. As soon as you come in, you clock in your time, you do 5 hours, 4 hours, you're done, you go back. There are people who currently are in the UK now, different parts of the world, Nigerians who are jackpot, they are doing these jobs part-time. So they can actually pay for foot of a certain bill while the parents are back home sending money. They're doing that to augment, and then they take care of certain things. The question is our government listening?
I mean, everything shouldn't even fall on the table of the government. I believe there are teenagers for a reason. Teenagers are impressionable. They're still under the guardianship of their parents. And I wouldn't advise teenagers to just go out there and seek for full employment. It should be a guided sort of employment. You need to teach your teenagers the value of money, how to use money. What happened when I was growing up is, okay, you're interested in this field, my dad would send you to a friend that has a company, and then you would spend your summer holidays there, learn the works, or you even work in my dad's company, and then get a stipend at the end of the month. That way is guided. They're not just throwing you out there, because you never know the psychological evaluation of people out there to the deep blue to understand. It's, okay, your community coffee shop or community bakery, you can work there. And I know some parents that actually send their teenagers to the mechanic workshop to learn the value of money and things like that. I support that. But for the bigger picture of unemployment, yes, the government needs to create the enabling environment for businesses to thrive and industrialize. But I don't think teenagers, their focus, they should study hard, they should go to school, develop skill sets. The internet is there. And also, if they can pick up to understand the value of money, little jobs around the community, they shouldn't be concerned with, I want to earn money.
That's what she's saying. Everything you said is exactly what she said.
And holiday jobs.
I mean, just like she's not talking about full-time jobs. She's talking about summer, which is just pick up something for 3 months.
I think the parents should help guide them in getting that. The government hasn't taken care of the adults. The government hasn't taken care of the adults. The government will not. I think teenagers.
But that spells doom for the economy.
So the bigger conversation is when you create more jobs,
opportunities.
Yes, opportunities. Then these teenagers.
I mean, take a look at New Central. Here at New Central, we have a lot. We have a lot of them who work with us. But let's see what Nigerians are saying, reacting to that young girl's speech that she put on TikTok right there. Let's see what they're saying. Ms. Hope says, I'm sorry we failed you. No excuses. All the Gen Z and millennials, let's start mentoring and supporting in our own little ways, creating those cycle of opportunities that government may never give us in our prime. I agree with you, Ms. Hope, 100%. Today says, job opportunity for where? Now, connection, grace, and small jazz, they work now. Sis, go open POS and start life fresh. I mean, nah.
I mean, riding, and then there's underemployment. I don't think riding tricycles and POS business, that's not That's unemployment.
Mark
And we need
Soldier
to-
Otabo says, create one by mastering a skill. There's so many opportunities that AI has presented. Take advantage and start earning. Now, don't forget to this start earning. Anyway, let's read all the tweets. Felix Ogwezi says, this is where planning and data collection makes sense. You can't keep establishing new universities without planning for the yearly graduates. 100% spot on, Felix. And he says we should create opportunities for massive employment and empower entrepreneurs and business owners to create jobs. Thank you. Thank you. I think Felix's statement sums up pretty much what we've said. Okay, we have one more. Hot takes with Joke says, apply to a company or business in your study area and intern there. It could be with no pay unless they decide to offer you a stipend. If you are efficient, effective, they are likely to retain you by asking you to join full-time when you graduate. Many have used this route.
Absolutely.
All right.
And Barnes says, now BSc holders, they work for coffee shop for Niger. The PhD now for restaurant. Sorry there, but go and learn handwork and hope on God, says Ms. Barnes. Yeah.
Benga, you see what we just said. Now, we've been able to look at how Nigerians are reacting to it. One, if the government enables more companies, especially the SMEs, which make for a huge percentage of the employment in the country, Nigeria, and also contribute about 48 or how many percent to the GDP, then the government can actually focus on them, possibly give them some form of tax rebate. If I have a coffee shop, if both of us put some money together, which I think we should discuss too, and put a coffee shop, we can put, some people there. But let's move to our last story. This last story has got to do with, we're back to politics. Honorable Chinedu Oga, representing Ikwoiza South Federal constituency in Ebonyi State, has stirred public reactions after reportedly distributing 500 naira each to constituents during a community outreach.
This is what you call
at his
dividend of
country home
democracy.
in Item Amagu, Ikwo local government area. Now, the gesture, which was part of his periodic empowerment drive, PED, was said to be in response to the growing economic hardship faced by residents. While some locals appreciated the lawmakers' continued presence and concern for his people, others questioned the value and impact of the cash support amid the nation's rising inflation and unemployment. But this money was shared, 500 naira. Bigger.
It's a lot to buy sweet. I mean, and if his constituents lick sweet, they can, dream of good times ahead, because this is just preposterous. I don't understand what's going on here. And the value. Does the honorable, it's just better to keep your money. And just look at the dehumanization, the weaponization of poverty here.
So there are two things. Why is he recording it?
He's proud of he's doing his constituency work. He's proud of himself and his contribution to his community by giving this 500 naira.
500 naira.
Yeah, it's part of the periodic employment empowerment.
Things are tough. People are struggling. So when they receive 500 like this, let's give it to the honorable. Honorable, you try, You try. 500 naira. Coizio. Mega. Let's take reactions on X. It's tough. 500. Obioma Walker says, to what end exactly? These are more the reason they weaponize poverty. They don't want you to be able to afford basic needs so that when they come to you with their crumbs, you joyfully accept and sell your soul once more to them. This is wrong. Whew. Masterpiece, Danny Masterpiece says, these are the kind of politics that have not only impoverished our region, but has weaponized the people to be poor mentally, highly depending on government stipends, peanut cash to gain party loyalty, even to the point of using their life to support a candidate. Instead of all this, people travel out and attract investment like other states, Ogun to Lagos, and the rest, so as to help create employment and job opportunities for the people. They keep sharing 500 naira to keep the people dependent on them. It goes on saying, the same thing. Let's see if we have another tweet very quickly. Osaze says, some of these villages, they hardly see 500 naira. They only have foodstuff at home because they are farmers. That's why vote buying won't stop. That's another critical aspect. Official EFCC, you need to invite this man to find out if this money is his personal money or government money. If it's government money, he must provide the budget approval to spend the money in this manner. That's coming from Osara Vibes.
Very, very sad.
Very sad.
Video there just shows you the level of poverty in the country, and that's not the best way to take care of poverty by disputing 500 naira. Sad. And on to our last wake-up story of the morning. I mean, this has been news for some time now. The relationship, the embattled, the relationship between Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio. But things seem to be, the cold relationship seems to be thawing. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has formally invited the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, and fellow lawmakers to a commissioning ceremony of a constituency project scheduled for Sunday in Ihima, Okene local government area of Kogi State. A landmark event marking a second year in the Senate. The invitation, delivered via a letter personally signed by Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan, designates her residence at plot 101 Jimo Akpoti Street, Ihima, as a meeting point and suggests landing at Obajana Airstrip for those arriving by air. The move also signals a thaw in a previously strained relationship between the two lawmakers, setting the stage for the large-scale event expected to highlight community investment and legislative achievements. You know, let there be peace in the land. And do you think the Senate President would honor this invitation?
Well, let's look at the video, and then I'll drop my 2 cents in between.
Okay. Mega empowerment for my constituencies. The letter is addressed to Godswill Akpabio, President of the Senate. Distinguished colleagues, on Sunday, November 2, 2025, I shall mark 2 years in office in the service of the good people of Kogi Central Senatorial District as their senator in the National Assembly of our nation, with the commissioning and flag off of projects and constituency empowerment. This letter therefore serves as a formal invitation to you all to grace and participate in the activities marking my second anniversary in office. The ceremony is scheduled as follows. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's residence, plot 101 Jimo Akpoti Street, Ihima, Okehi, local government area of Kogi State, for Sunday, November 2, 2025, time 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The venue is accessible by air through Obajana Airstrip facility near Lokoja and by road from Abuja. While I look forward to welcoming you, please accept the assurances of my highest regards. Yours truly, Senator Barrister Natasha.
That's a good one. So there's peace in the Middle East. There's peace.
It's this Sunday. We'll wait to see. I mean, but just the gesture and writing to invite the Senate President shows a lot of maturity, and that the relationship seems to have been, the differences seem to have been resolved. So let's see how this goes, and let's see if the Senate President will honor that invitation. But let's go on X and hear what Nigerians are saying. Mega Mixer says, from suspension to scissors sharing photos opportunities. The hilarious political climate in Nigeria is such that political beefs expire faster than promises after election season. Tech lawyer says the way to go. It's obvious she has learned her lessons. She shouldn't allow emotions to determine how she reacts to issues, says Ebenezer Abadi. Comrade Deji Adeyonju says if they explain Nigeria to you and you understand, they didn't explain it very well, he says. Those are some of the tweets we have from what Nigerians are saying.
Absolutely. And that does it for Wake Up Conversations this morning. We're about to go into the next aspect of the program. So do want to stay with us. We're here up until it's about 10 a.m. or so. So stick around. Let's bring to you what the top stories we'll be looking at this morning are. The top stories for today on Breakfast Central. President Tinubu charges service chiefs We'll talk about that story. We'll also take a look at the 15% fuel import duty. I bet you heard about it. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it something that will make you glad? Okay. Elections aftermath, a big conversation, looking at 3 major countries in Africa, Tanzania, don't forget Cameroon and Cote d'Ivoire. A military leadership handover after the coup, and what's the next step? Stay with us because we also have the front pages of the newspapers coming up at 9. We're here with you. Make sure you stay with us as well.
Yeah, welcome back to Breakfast Central. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has officially decorated the newly appointed service chiefs at the presidential villa in Abuja following the confirmation by the Senate. The new military leadership includes General Olufemi Oluyede, the Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, the Chief of Army Staff, and Air Marshal Kennedy Aneke, Chief of Air Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas, and the Chief of Naval Staff.
The president directed the service chiefs to crush terrorist groups and declared that Nigeria is in a hurry to celebrate victory over enemies of the state. But beyond the ceremony and the rhetoric, what does this reshuffle mean for Nigeria's fight against insecurity, military professionalism, and civil-military relations? Joining us live in the studio for this discussion, we have principal partner at Monarchy and Associates Consulting, Akinkunmi Von, is here live. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thanks. Thanks.
The first question everyone definitely will be talking about and will love to ask is the change of the security chiefs and the impact it will have, especially looking at the military, the Navy, name them. That change, was it very necessary?
Well, to be informed about the change is within the Constitution of the Nation, Section 218, subsection 1 and 2, that the president can make those changes. Even in the harmonized terms of condition, Section 11 there, 0.8 and 0.9, it tells that after 2 years, or they can say for as much as 2 years, then thereafter, if the president sees fit, he can extend their stay. You asking from the civilian angle, because we're all civilians.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm not totally civilian because the former, I'm from a breed. They call us ex-boys. Yeah. The former Chief of Air Staff and Chief of Naval Staff, they were 6 years my own senior. Yeah. So when you're speaking
in the
military, yeah, Nigerian military school, sorry.
Okay, I went to Nigerian military school too.
What set is that?
NMS 93, Echo Company.
Okay, Foxtrot Company, 88.
Wow.
Okay, so we're speaking military language now.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm the odd one out there.
No, you're not.
Right,
you're not.
right.
I'll bring you online.
I'm going to represent the masses. So
I'll bring you
on.
online. Now, where I'll bring you online is that question is a civil question.
Yeah, it is.
It's within the terms of everything that is going on. And you see, when these questions come up, it stirs up a lot of political, careless civilian talk. It's well within the arms of law, and there is nothing wrong. Will it be effective? Will it be useful? Come to the military. Their first place of showing their fit for what they've been appointed to, you understand, is where they put things together to ensure 3 things. 1, what you've been handed over, that you catch up with it good.
Okay.
Number 2, what is it exactly you've been given? You need to know. Some of them might just sit back. You're supposed to go through everything because everything might be empty. Then you see, reshuffling sometimes. I don't know why people term politics to be a negative thing. Negative thing. Politics just means the social administration of every immediate environment. In your house, there's politics.
Of course.
So now, when you come on, the immediate thing is to ensure the people you are sitting with, you are in sync with them. If you are not in sync, you can give a matching order and nobody is following. So the immediate thing is to engage the position. And I can assure you that for the military, there is no going back on that. They do that effectively.
Now let's talk about the impact of this change in personnel of the service chiefs and the CDS. The military has it's a big organization. There's a command and control structure, how much impact will the change of personnel at the top, the head of the Army, Navy, Air Force, make in daily operations, in the command, in the theater of operations and things like that? Will it trickle down, and does it have an effect on the morale and also fighting spirit and the way they go about their business?
We're saying two things. You've mixed it up with morale. You're talking about effectiveness. Let's talk about effectiveness.
Okay, effectiveness.
Now, effectiveness is the fact that you've been given a position, administrative position. It's yours to ensure you engage it and do well. Now, I can't assure you of how everybody will handle his or her own task, but it's in the position of the leaders there to either charge, you're not doing well, and if it's doing well, you give him, you encourage him. But for the morale, sir, three things that I notice we often ignore when it comes to the morale of the armed forces. We forget the grassroots. This morale you're talking about is not even for them that have been appointed. It is for those that will be on field.
Yeah.
Their welfare. If their welfare is not in place, sir, empty work. Second one, all gadgets and all what they are supposed to be fighting with is part of the military welfare. You're not talking, when you're talking about welfare, you're not talking only about their food, about money.
Salary,
you're talking about
equipment,
equipment, what they're fighting with. So if their service welfare is not in place, which is where the equipment match up, you can imagine when you begin to hear military personnel is being ambushed. If the weapons they have don't match up, those kind of embarrassments will continue. So when you're talking about welfare, we're talking about, look, just go to the grassroots first. The people you are hoping they will work with you, are they okay? If they are not, sir, the welfare is not good.
I'd like us to look at the alleged coup, because these changes came in the midst of the rumored coup, although we're starting to see a lot of stories crop up.
Names have been given.
Some names have been shared online. Some media houses are digging deep, stating an assassination attempt alleged on the National Security Advisor, and so on and so forth. And then here comes the change of service chiefs.
Yeah.
So everybody's trying to link it.
Read meaning.
Oh, it could be that there was a coup. The coup. That's why.
Yeah.
What do we make out of this entire?
Well, I said something when I was coming here this morning, which is there is no smoke without fire. But either way, if there was a smoke from one fire, the next thing to do will fall in line with what has been done, which is let's check them and put the right people in place so that democracy will not be messed with. So it's not out of place. Then again, I can tell you it's normal for civilians to come up with reading meanings. You understand? Listen to what I said when I came. I talked about the Constitution. I talked about the harmonized terms and condition. Everything the president did is well in line. But the timing and the drama it shows forth, I don't think anything is out of place, even if there is what you said, alleged coup. Because if you go to all the online medias that are talking about it, listen to their news from the beginning till the end. They don't talk about the fact that there was a board of inquiry that has investigated and had come out with some sets of persons that want to do anything called coup. And coup, it's a normal thinking when it comes to civilian era. So what is supposed to be done is those in charge, they should checkmate them. Are you guys doing what you're doing, supposed to be doing? Are you supervising? Are you monitoring properly so that we don't have a fallout? There is a check of that continuously. So the rumor in place, but I can tell you the president is taking proper. I just want to dispel the civilian fear.
Do you think the Defense Headquarters Communications Directorate should come out and clear the air on this?
But they've done that.
A press conference with
They've done
journalists?
that.
Okay, great.
They've done that.
Now, moving on, let's talk about the profile of the new service chiefs. The immediate past service chiefs, two of them, the Chief of Naval Staff and the Chief of Air Staff, were ex-boys of the Nigerian military
Like we
school,
are.
like we are. Not everybody has the privilege, the rare privilege of being ex-boys.
Okay.
Away from that, what's your assessment of this new officer?
No, they are
and why do we have a promotion immediately after they've been appointed? Yesterday we saw the investiture. The CDS is now a full general. The Chief of Army Staff is a Lieutenant General, and both of you. Could you explain that?
Well, let's not leave Joe
that?
out of this. Let me involve Joe.
Okay.
Now, when a change like that comes on, some people need to go because a junior officer will not be commanding his seniors. Then, when some go, if you check within the terms of the years the person has served and he qualifies for promotion, with that appointment, an immediate
kicks in.
shift works out. It works out. That's it.
Okay. And then the personnel, what's your assessment of?
No. Have you seen their profile?
Their
Their profile is
bulky. I mean,
their profile
I
is
just follow what
public.
they were reading through.
They have the
very deep.
experience. They are well trained, so they match up to what is immediate for the country.
Yeah, I mean, I did see their profile and I read.
Beautiful.
Besides, when they were talking in the assembly, you could tell that, okay, these are not just people that have been selected.
During the screening exercise.
During the screening exercise. These are men who have their foot deep in.
Yeah.
But that is not to allay the worry and the fears which many Nigerians still carry as a backpack.
Okay.
That in times past, we've had people who have a very bulky, beautiful resume,
True talk.
one of which happens to be a former late president, President Buhari. When he was campaigning to be president, many
used the
had
military.
said, oh, because he's a military man, he understands the technique, strategy. So when he comes, it's a done deal for anything ISWAP, Boko Haram, it's finished. And we did see that also occur when they put certain, service chiefs. Does this, should Nigerians now say, okay, because there's a change, are we, like I said, we still carry that fear as a backpack? Are we going to see any change, or is it going to be business as usual? I mean, you're in that field, you've studied these things, you've seen it. What really even stops from really achieving this?
What stops is corruption, poverty, and interference with the armed forces. You say, how can interference come to the armed forces? Very simple. They are submitted to democracy. They cannot act on their own. I'll give you an example. If the president does not permit you be in Borno, you have no rights as a military personnel to forge further to be in Borno. It's not possible. Poverty. Now, where poverty and corruption kiss is this. I saw you showing on screen where somebody is giving money.
Yes.
And people are coming on.
Yes.
Until Nigerians will grow individual integrity, we cannot have change in this country. I'm not denying the fact that there is austerity, poverty is deep, and it commands people's decision. I'm not ignoring that. But when people have cash on one hand, a set of persons, a very small percentage, and another percentage very poor and very needy, you can't have a balanced politic background. It's not possible. There is a shift. And politics is a game of numbers. And if the numbers of those that are hungry and starving and poor are more than those that are rich and, so to say, appointed to lead, so you are leading with money. You are not leading with the discretion of integrity. It's not. Integrity doesn't come to play. So our politics is lopsided. We don't have a balanced politics. You see, when you want to talk politics with a group of persons that want to say this is what is right and this is what this country must do, their belly is full. If they are hungry, you are talking nonsense.
They're talking in the air.
So we need to, I mean, you can't shoot your way out of the security issues and banditry. We need to take care of the social issues and the economic issues, and also use the military approach. Yes.
They are key.
Now, President Tinubu, during the investiture of the service chiefs, emphasized the use of technology in defeating insurgency. We're seeing a new type of warfare here, asymmetrical, where you're not facing a conventional army. Given your interactions and your assessment and your work, what's your assessment? Are armed forces equipped technically, and do they have the wherewithal to wage this modern warfare, this new type of warfare?
My strength in the security service is two: art of crime management and family protection. Those are the two strengths, and those are the social end of security.
Closer to the people.
Yes, closer to the people. Now, what it takes to go to a rural place where a set of persons in this nation that is governed by democracy can wear military uniform without being in the armed forces and carry sophisticated weapon without check. It is deep, sir. It is deep. Now, to checkmate that, get me your question again. Let me get.
Are we equipped to?
Now, in the equipment, you know obviously publicly that we are not, because of the way the military and the armed forces have been harassed, the competition, and the boldness. You should see it online. Yeah. For these people carrying, and they don't carry old sophisticated weapons. You see, these are branded new sophisticated weapons. Where are they coming through? So in support of, if they are advanced enough to match up, they are not. Because within the boundaries
but every year the defense budget increases. The defense budget keeps increasing. So how do you explain this?
Okay, now I will challenge that the new service chiefs should ensure that the money the nation puts in for security should get to the grassroots. How? Every equipment these people need, they should purchase them and ensure that their salary, so that they don't have dual interest in different places. Their salary must be in place. Their family should be well kept. This service chief, I can assure you, if the morale of the grassroots people at the armed forces,
the infantrymen,
yes, if they are well equipped,
yes,
socially and military-wise, I can tell you, for them to fight is nothing big. Look at what it means to go to a rural place to evacuate illiterates. I can say more than 90% of these people we are shouting in this nation that seems we are all educated in, more than 90% of them are illiterate. And they are flogging the whole nation into shape. Flogging. What happens to drones and what happens to sophisticated weapons that we can purchase, and we can do this thing? I can tell you, you can even give the service chiefs, I give you people 3 months. We'll get you all you need, clean Nigeria up. I'm telling you, with sophisticated weapons, which we don't have or we have not purchased, this work can be done. But we don't have them.
So like Benga asked, oftentimes the budget is always sent.
It's
always sent for approval, and then when it's approved, you see XYZ amounts, huge amounts being allocated.
But does it get to the grassroots?
So where does it go to? That's another question, because they're not just on paper. They have to be released to the security, and when it's released, at the end of the day,
we see it. These things, they brandish it if they have it. They don't have it.
Now, beyond the equipment, let's talk about the strength, the personnel of our armed forces. They're stretched. It's an anomaly to even see soldiers on the streets. They should be in their barracks.
Yes, in the barracks.
But we have elections, and they are drafted as a support service for the...
And they are not even enough.
For the... to support the Nigerian police. They're not enough. So do we need to increase recruitment drive? Do we need more people in the armed forces to
Let's go back to the economy.
Because we have pockets of insecurity in different parts of the country. So I believe they're kind of stretched.
Are you asking or you know? Because they are stretched.
Okay. Yes, they are
They're
stretched.
stretched.
Yeah.
They're stretched already. And I still go back to the fact that the welfare and the morale of these people will go a long way even when we get the equipment. Because right now, all the news you are taking on TV and on radio, they're also listening to it. And in armed forces, you don't talk carelessly. So, grudgingly, we need to treat their grudges. If we don't treat and harm their grudges, we might think we have a set of persons in place and they are not yet in place.
Okay, so my next question to you, since you've been closer to especially the newly appointed called security chiefs, what would be the 3 things that you think they need to do to set the motion, to set the ball rolling and get on with securing the lives and properties of Nigerians and the territories as well? What
3 things.
3 things key
3 things
that we need to see.
3 things. For their level of education and every other thing, they know the bureaucracy in administration where policies that are strong can be backed up. Because you see, you can be a figurehead. Yes, you can be a figurehead. So if those policies are not put in place for action, there is trouble. Number 2, the borders. If they put hands together, there's synergy in the armed forces to ensure our borders are well secured. I mean properly secured. And we can know who is part of us and who is not part of us. We can find where these people can monitor what is coming in. I tell you, in the same Nigeria where you and I are, there is almost a whole nation of a set of persons that are not Nigerian that are dwelling with us. And we have armed forces. So if there's synergy in them working together concerning the border, policy, number 1. 2, borders. 3, these equipments we are talking about, they are not far-fetched. They are not far-fetched. A simple, sophisticated drone could give you the video, live video of what is happening in different places. A sophisticated...
But what happened to the Tucano jets were told to have purchased?
Tucano you are mentioning is still in a low term when we come to sophistication. If you hear sophistication, you will bow. What happened to it, I don't know.
But I think we got some of them.
Yes, but he is saying what happened to them.
Yes.
Are they being used? That he's asking. Yeah. Okay, and that question is the fact that even the sophisticated weapon I'm talking about, will they be used? Yeah. So, well, the policy comes into place. Where the policy comes into place is this service chief must show veto to be able to engage in the administration of the country. They don't need to override the civil rule. They just come up with their service order and sit up to confront what needs to be confronted. They
speak to the GOCs
before they even speak to the GOC, they have the right to speak to the administration of the nation itself. That's their place.
Yes.
They have the office to do that. So policy cannot be ignored. The borders cannot be ignored. Then, sophisticated weapons will do the job. If they give them 3 months and they support them, because it's another thing to say go and do and you don't support the person. If they support them, 3 months is enough for the country to be, everybody will fall into place.
Policy, borders, and sophisticated equipment. Well, thank you so much for sharing insights. Always a pleasure having you join us. Mr. Kikuminfon is the principal partner at Monarchy and Associates Consulting. When you talk about security insight, he's got it. And I think we've been able to tap into that, looking at the security chiefs. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we have another conversation to look into. But let's quickly let you in on definitely what's coming up next. Coming up next here on Breakfast Central, we'll look at a 15% fuel import duty. It's new. How is it going to affect you? And we'll look at elections aftermath across Africa, Ivory Coast, not forget to Cameroon and the likes. And Senate confirms Bernard Doro as minister. Stay with us.
Three nations, three elections, one troubling pattern in Cameroon. 92-year-old President Paul Biya has secured an 8th term, extending his rule to nearly half a century. In Tanzania and Ivory Coast, similar stories unfolding allegations of manipulation, intimidation, and what some call political terrorism.
Political terrorism, indeed. Today, we ask a question that echoes across the continent. Are elections still about the voice of the people or the echo of power? Well, joining us this morning is Pan-African affairs analyst, Dr. David Musanga joins us live this morning. I do hear that you're not in Tanzania. Can you confirm where you're joining us from this morning?
I am in East Africa, in Tanzania, and using the satellite link. I think I can show you my satellite link live. It is working. If you have a VPN, you work. Okay. It is live. Tanzania is working. The planes are going in. They are flying out. Don't listen to the images that you see of AI. The airport is functioning. Please. This is something that we must discuss as generations, because I am here. The planes are coming in. Going out. So book a plane to come to Dar es Salaam. Okay,
it's good to know that you're one of the firsts out of many, because we've seen conversations online. Some journalists have said that they're not allowed to go into Tanzania because they will not be able to criticize the election process and so on. But thank you for joining us first off. This conversation is going to look critically at the just concluded elections in 3 different African countries, one continent, by the way. And like my colleague did say at the opening, different and similar patterns that have led to protests and youth restiveness that we see on the streets. But let's start with one of them. Cameroon, the biggest one. I'm not excited. That's not why I'm actually jumpy, but I'm just excited to hear your thoughts on what we've seen. It's unprecedented. President Biya wins again, but the streets of Garou and Yaoundé tell a different story. Protests, arrests, international condemnation, and we didn't even see him campaign. I mean, he was using Dr. Musanga. What's your take on the just concluded Cameroon elections?
First of all, in Cameroon is a sad story of Africa. This is a gentleman who is senile, and I call it senile. I'm not God. I don't want to judge him whether he should go to heaven or hell today or tomorrow. All of us will go. But this is a man who rules from proxy. He rules Cameroon from Switzerland, Geneva, in a hotel, until I blocked him coming from to London. He used to rule, come to London for medical treatment. I filed an application in the Old Bailey telling him, should he ever step in London, I'll do the Pinochet, what we did to Pinochet with the Chilean refugees. So he doesn't step in London. His plane does not pass anywhere near the airspace of the United Kingdom. This is a man, you talk of elections. What elections was in Cameroon? Nothing. It's a rigged election, a rigged result. A result announced by all men, set by Mr. Paul Biya, 93, 91, 89, 85, 84, 82, 90. There is one almost reaching 100, who is a general in the army. 2, the point of Cameroon is dangerous in that part of Cameroon, the children for 9 years, the children, the women are in camps. Southern Cameroon are in camps. The English-speaking country are in camps. In fact, for me now, my condemnation is on African Union and the Commonwealth. They send observers to observe elections over dead bodies. They did not even look at the dead bodies, how Mr. Paul Biya has killed very many people. Over 3,000 people are in jail, prisoners of war. I am one of the lawyers for the Naira 10 who were abducted from Abuja in a hotel, detained and sentenced to life. So what type of election is this that you call election? There were no elections in Cameroon. It was a selection.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned the African Union, Dr. Matsanga, because the chairperson of the African Union, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, congratulated President Paul Biya on his re-election for his 8th term and calls for national dialogue in the Republic of Cameroon. They say African solution to African problems. Well, the African Union doesn't seem to see any problem in Cameroon. That's why they've extended their congratulations to President Paul Biya. What's your take on this and your reaction, Dr. Matsanga?
In fact, my dear brother, African Union is dead. The word D-E-A-D, dead. It should not be even, don't mention it in your lips because it is sour. There is no African Union. African Union stopped working when that lady of South Africa, Dlamini Zuma, was the chairperson. When Muhammad Faki took over, you know my battles with African Union. The corruption, the scandals that I have exposed to the international community. I warned the people and I warned the Africans. My good prophecy has come to pass. I told them, Mr. Mohamed Yusuf is a French mercenary, is a puppet. France has captured the African Union. We have no say, we have no lead. All talks, peace talks, DRC is led by Qatar, by that madman across the Atlantic called Trump. You see, all these things, African Union should be the leader, not the other countries to come and lead. Then it comes to congratulate. I have sent a message to all African heads of state who are going to meet in Angola, and I'm going to Angola because Angola they are my in-laws. I'm going there to petition so that he is taken down. We want a vote of no confidence. We want to censor him. He has not functioned. Since he came to power, more conflicts have taken place. So, my dear brother, there is no African Union. If you are looking for African Union, look for the African Union when Gaddafi used to exist. Look for African Union when Mugabe used to exist. Look for African Union when Dlamini Zuma was the chairperson. After that, it died with Muhammad Faki collecting money from Qatar, from where, from Middle East, from all sorts of things. Your problem in Boko Haram would have been solved by African Union. Nobody has done that. So we are in trouble. No, African Union is a dead organization.
All right, with African Union out of the way, permit me to go back to Cameroon again so that we can close out on Cameroon. I want us to, we want to also move to Cote d'Ivoire, and then we'll also take a look at Tanzania, where you are. We'll leave that for last. But is there any legitimacy left with Cameroon's Constitutional Council when they declared the results with precision of 53.66% for Biya, 35.19% for opposition candidate Issa Chiroma Decry, despite early signs that showed that Decry was actually in the lead? We did see him put out a video that he was so confident that he's going to win because he was certain that the numbers were actually tilting towards his favor. And the mood of the nation was showing that maybe it's about time for the president to go. He stayed too long. But at the end of the day, bam, it changes all of a sudden. What do you have to say to this?
Let me tell you, what is remaining in Cameroon is for international community to stand up. Unfortunately, Britain, United Nations, France, and to some extent the United States of America fear to tackle Cameroon. Do you know why? They never wrote an agreement to surrender Southern Cameroon. There is no agreement anywhere in the world. This is the only country where Northern Cameroon, the French speakers, went and annexed after Resolution 1608 of the United Nations General Assembly. It's sad. The fight in Cameroon is between the French speakers, where Paul Biya comes from, and the Southern English speakers. And unfortunately, the Commonwealth, with our Secretary General who comes from Ghana, when she visited Cameroon, I don't know what they do to them. They come out laughing instead of coming out to condemn Cameroon and condemn Paul Biya. So what is left for Cameroon at the moment? all these states, these superpowers fear to tackle the issue of Cameroon because of they handed over Cameroon without agreement. I've been to the International Court of Justice together with other states in the Sahel. We are pursuing that route to bring about why was Cameroon handed over without an agreement. France does not want Paul Biya to go. Interest. Britain does not want Paul Biya to go. Interest. America is talking big, hot fire, cold water. Doesn't want Paul Biya to go. Human rights are being abused. They know it. And they condone. There's another country called Finland that has joined in looking for minerals. Norway is looking for minerals. They don't want this thing to go. The oil is pumping out. You see, they choose leaders whom they can use, like Mabutu and others they used. We suspended Abacha. Okay. When Abacha imprisoned that Obasanjo, it was Masanga breaking the windows of the Nigerian embassy in London to pick up the ambassador out. It is me and Osuju, Judge Osuju. We wanted them. We suspended Abacha from Commonwealth. We suspended the Rawlings from Commonwealth. Why are we not suspending Mr. Paul Biya and Cameroon from the Commonwealth? To some extent, your own nation should be not even in its Commonwealth. The values have gone. I've been hearing what you are talking previously with the other speaker. Oh my God, a whole country with resources is in turmoil. So here we are. We call upon the international community to come back and realize that people are dying, children. There are children for 9 years who have never gone to school. Let me tell you, brothers, they have never gone to school. The women have been raped, defiled, killed. 3,000 prisoners of war in prison.
You're right. You're right,
Yes.
Dr. Matsanga, and it's an absolute tragedy that even when we look inwards, the African Union can't seem to do something about the problems in Africa. And then when we look outwards, the Western nations are just out there to help exploit our resources. But let's move to West Africa, where Nigeria is situated, Ivory Coast, to be specific. We all remember the conditions and the way the current president, Alassane Ouattara, came into office. Former President Laurent Gbagbo was trying to seek another term in office, which was not constitutional. It led to a civil war. Thankfully, they were able to resolve things. The war ended. President Ouattara was sworn in, and he has used the parliament to remove constitutional limits. He has just won his fourth term in office. And the irony is that this is someone who the entire continent came around to support and say, let's say no to tenure elongation. Now, he's committed the same sin as his predecessor. He's 83 years old. Why do we seem to have a power fix, this contagion in Africa? Why do we have sit-tight leaders? If they're not military, when they become civilians, they change constitutional term limits, and we apparently just live with it. Equatorial Guinea, Uganda, the examples are many. Isaias Afwerki in Eritrea too.
Let me be very frank. First solution, Africa must go back to a drawing table. China 40 years ago was in turmoil like Africa today. I think the democratic elections of voting one man, one vote have collapsed. It has collapsed in Africa. It will always create a war. Apart from South Africa, Liberia, Senegal, Ghana, and to some extent,
Botswana.
Your place, yes, it has collapsed. So I am saying we better go back and to a drawing table. 40 years ago, China went back. Mao Zedong died. They thought about a new way out. Today, 40 years past, China is between the French speakers, where Paul Biya comes from, and the Southern English speakers. And unfortunately, the Commonwealth, with our Secretary General who comes from Ghana, when she visited Cameroon, I don't know what they do to them. They come out laughing instead of coming out to condemn Cameroon and condemn Paul Biya. So what is left for Cameroon at the moment? all these states, these superpowers fear to tackle the issue of Cameroon because of they handed over Cameroon without agreement. I've been to the International Court of Justice together with other states in the Sahel. We are pursuing that route to bring about why was Cameroon handed over without an agreement. France does not want Paul Biya to go. Interest. Britain does not want Paul Biya to go. Interest. America is talking big, hot fire, cold water. Doesn't want Paul Biya to go. Human rights are being abused. They know it. And they condone. There's another country called Finland that has joined in looking for minerals. Norway is looking for minerals. They don't want this thing to go. The oil is pumping out. You see, they choose leaders whom they can use, like Mabutu and others they used. We suspended Abacha. Okay. When Abacha imprisoned that Obasanjo, it was Masanga breaking the windows of the Nigerian embassy in London to pick up the ambassador out. It is me and Osuju, Judge Osuju. We wanted them. We suspended Abacha from Commonwealth. We suspended the Rawlings from Commonwealth. Why are we not suspending Mr. Paul Biya and Cameroon from the Commonwealth? To some extent, your own nation should be not even in its Commonwealth. The values have gone. I've been hearing what you are talking previously with the other speaker. Oh my God, a whole country with resources is in turmoil. So here we are. We call upon the international community to come back and realize that people are dying, children. There are children for 9 years who have never gone to school. Let me tell you, brothers, they have never gone to school. The women have been raped, defiled, killed. 3,000 prisoners of war in prison.
You're right. You're right,
Yes.
Dr. Matsanga, and it's an absolute tragedy that even when we look inwards, the African Union can't seem to do something about the problems in Africa. And then when we look outwards, the Western nations are just out there to help exploit our resources. But let's move to West Africa, where Nigeria is situated, Ivory Coast, to be specific. We all remember the conditions and the way the current president, Alassane Ouattara, came into office. Former President Laurent Gbagbo was trying to seek another term in office, which was not constitutional. It led to a civil war. Thankfully, they were able to resolve things. The war ended. President Ouattara was sworn in, and he has used the parliament to remove constitutional limits. He has just won his fourth term in office. And the irony is that this is someone who the entire continent came around to support and say, let's say no to tenure elongation. Now, he's committed the same sin as his predecessor. He's 83 years old. Why do we seem to have a power fix, this contagion in Africa? Why do we have sit-tight leaders? If they're not military, when they become civilians, they change constitutional term limits, and we apparently just live with it. Equatorial Guinea, Uganda, the examples are many. Isaias Afwerki in Eritrea too.
Let me be very frank. First solution, Africa must go back to a drawing table. China 40 years ago was in turmoil like Africa today. I think the democratic elections of voting one man, one vote have collapsed. It has collapsed in Africa. It will always create a war. Apart from South Africa, Liberia, Senegal, Ghana, and to some extent,
Botswana.
Your place, yes, it has collapsed. So I am saying we better go back and to a drawing table. 40 years ago, China went back. Mao Zedong died. They thought about a new way out. Today, 40 years past, China is giving us loans. Africa has got resources, it can go back. Two, one of the problems of Africa's democracy is looking at presidential term. You notice that in all these presidential elections are more contested. The contestation is more acute on the presidency, not MP. Presidents Because Africa has copied and pasted bad constitution of United States on their constitutions. Parliamentary systems in South Africa work. You have been there. You see, you vote, you go back home and listen to the results in South Africa. Why doesn't Africa change to a model that cannot bring a competition on presidents? Coming to Ivory Coast, let me tell you, I was one of the last people in Ivory Coast with Thabo Mbeki, Chisano, and the late Raila Odinga. We were there when the war broke. The French came and installed Alassane Ouattara. Alassane Ouattara is not even supposed to be an Ivory Coast president, but he knocks out the real people. He is from Burkina Faso. Facts must be talked. And Africans, people like you, must speak facts. Why your television is becoming the best on African continent is because you speak facts. Ouattara is from Burkina Faso. He should not be leading Ivory Coast. He bumped out on the help of the French. He was installed, and they took Babgo. That's why I went to ICC to oppose. And I won. You look at the records. We won the case of Babgo. There was no case against Babgo. Now, you know what? Most of the leaders in Africa fear departure from power. Because at times, those who come to power go for recrimination, go for witch hunt. Why don't we change strategy, my brothers? Redemption strategy, which Matanga has been saying. I was a critical President Museveni. We could not sit together on table. But look at me today. We shook hands. We did what we call a redemption strategy in our country. It might lack some democracy, deficit, but it has peace. That's one thing I like about Museveni. President Museveni has brought peace in my country. You can't beat up a Ugandan and you walk free. No, they will look for you. That security is what I want. So go redemption strategy. Try Africa. Your country, Nigeria, needs redemption. It's torn to pieces. Everybody wants to go away because the old colonial agreements have elapsed. So come back and renew your faith in your systems. On Ouattara, I am telling you, it is the French supporting him, the French putting him on that seat. Otherwise, he will not be on the seat. He will not be in the seat.
Okay, Dr. Osanga.
To overthrow.
Dr. Osanga, I'd like us to quickly, because of time, let's move to Tanzania. The protests have been, protests are spreading across Tanzania as we speak after they feel that the elections were marred by unrest. We've seen images, pictures. Take, for instance, they've said the protest has escalated to major cities across Tanzania, and supporters have denounced the presidential, also don't forget the military elections. They've called it, in quotes, it's a sham. But there you are, seated somewhere in Tanzania, saying that all what we see in the media is not in any way close to what's really happening there in Tanzania. So we'd like you to be our eyes and ears, and let's see if we can just oppose the reality of what's on ground to reality of what some of the men in the press have been able to cover. Tell us, what's really happening?
First of all, I will be very objective, and I will give you what is on the ground. The images that you are seeing, some of them are demonstrations of 2020, 2021. The AI younger generation is picking the images. There are no streets of that nature. In one of the images that is flowing around, they have South African police escorting people in Johannesburg planted on Tanzania. President Kikwete is in Tanzania. I've called him. He's in Tanzania. And the people are saying he's not in Tanzania. Tanzania is one of the countries liberated most of the countries in the region. As a former liberator myself, I would not stand to watch anyone dismember Tanzania because of foreign paid mercenaries by George Soros' organization called Open Society Foundation. Listen to Tundu Lissu. It is me who told Tundu Lissu to talk to the government of Tanzania. I met him in Belgium in a small house where I cannot sleep myself. Yes, He was suffering there. I told him, talk to the government. He talked to the government. He was paid money, compensated, a redemption strategy. Then when he came back, do you know one of the things in Africa you don't do? You don't laugh and celebrate when your friend has died. Tinubu went openly on international TV with an interview with me and others on the panel. He celebrated when Magufuli died. I told him that is very bad, my younger man.
But in fairness to Tundulisu, Dr. Matanga, he said, I remember interviewing Tundulisu, he did say categorically that the late John Pombe Magufuli ordered his assassination. And I asked him, and I doubled down, I asked him, do you know the implication of what you're just saying on national TV? He said, yes, that he's a lawyer, he's a former head of the Tanzanian Bar Association, and he stands by his allegations that the late President John Pombe Magufuli ordered his assassination.
He was a racketeer. In Tanzania, he's known for being a racketeer in money laundering and businesses. Yes, we have no proof about that. But even if you have harmed me, I don't celebrate about your death, my son. My two younger people, I can't. I will keep quiet. How many of us have lost? I've lost my wife. I've lost my father out of assassination. But I have never celebrated against any of those people who killed them when they died. So he did a very bad thing too. The Constitution of Tanzania, let me tell the world to listen. It says 60%. Once you get the highest percentage, wins the election. There is no Supreme Court. There is no more argument about the presidential elections. That is the system that works in Tanzania to keep unity. Two, Tundu Lissu was preaching separation. He wants to separate Tanzania from the mainland. No government can allow you. Let people know his other side of Tundu Lissu. We cannot sit here to say Tanzania is closed. Closed where? Planes are coming in. There's nobody at the airport. People are going out doing their work.
Okay.
If you have a VPN, like the VPN I'm raising right now,
quickly, Dr. Matanga, thanks for clearing the air on the situation in Tanzania, because we have 2 minutes to go, and it will be grave injustice if we don't talk about the situation in Al-Fashir in Sudan. What's happening to our Sudanese brothers there? The situation is dire. We've seen videos and images, even satellite imagery, emerging from Al-Fashir in Darfur, Sudan. What is the African Union doing about the situation, the RSF, and I'm sorry I brought in the African Union, but what do we need to stop this massive ethnic cleansing and bloodshed committed by the RSF, which is supported and funded by the United Arab Emirates in Al-Fashir?
Let me tell you, I have taken part as a rapporteur in the Sudan peace talks in Geneva. The problems of Sudan, simply, America, France, Libya, they have, do you know, there is a mercenary army of 30,000, over 30,000 men, led by General Khalifa Haftar. Let me tell Africa to listen to me. 30,000 men, equipped, supplied, supported by Egypt. They are in that region, in the corridor. They are the people who killed Idris Deby. France supplies them with all sophisticated weapons. Whose army is this? They have divided Libya. Those are the mercenaries coming down onto Al-Fashir, Darfur region. I and Mbeki, we solved the Darfur issue. We brought peace in Darfur. None of these malcontents who are walking around talking today ever solved the issue of Darfur. I'm very bitter about Sudan. Sudan is bleeding. African Union is posing with pictures. A man is posing pictures on a plane because he has no toilet in his home area. He has come to power. He's showing us pictures on a plane. And when a country is burning, I, Dr. Matang, will do everything. I know the two generals, General Burhan and the General Decry. You used to know me from 1994. I used to come to Khartoum to meet Bashir. Come on table. Come on table. And the United States of America, please stop funding one side. You are also funding one side in Jeddah. And you are causing more problems for us in Africa. Let us take an African initiative, put ourselves together, and go and tell the generals informally. Some of us are ready to risk our lives. I know where General Daglo is. He's in Jamena. I've ever gone there. Okay. I know his hotel. I can go and I persuade him to come out and come on table. I know General Burhan. Why are people not using us? Because they want to make more money, and that's why Sudan is bleeding. My friend, that time has come to speak up the mind, and it's good. Thank you for this television station, for allowing Africa to hear the truth.
Okay.
Those who take our records will hear Sudan is bleeding because of the French, Libyan axis, and America confusing Burhan.
Okay.
Burhan.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Masanga, for your time, and thanks for joining us here on Breakfast Central to look into the elections across a few countries in Africa and also touching on this particular topic. We look forward to having you again.
And I forgot to tell you something. My Uganda, our president, Museveni, is going to win because the opposition is useless.
Okay.
That younger man is the most useless man. He can play guitar very well, but not politics.
Okay, thank you for your time, Dr. Masanga. We have
so
to.
I know.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Masanga. We're out of time. Thanks for watching, and stay with us. We'll have more coming your way in a moment.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved a 15% value addition, a 15% import duty on petrol and diesel imports into Nigeria, a move aimed at shielding domestic refineries and stabilizing the downstream petroleum market. The directive contained a letter dated October 21st and made public on October the 30th, 2025, instructs the Federal Inland Revenue Service and Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Authority to begin immediate implementation. According to projections, the 15% duty could raise petrol landing costs by approximately 99.72 naira per litre, pushing estimated Lagos pump price to around 964 naira 72 kobo per litre.
The move comes as Nigeria seeks to reduce dependence on imported fuel, with a 650,000 barrels per day Dangote refinery and several modular refineries ramping up output. Still, imports currently supply about 67% of national petrol demand. This morning, we're joined by Stanley Honora, who is an economic analyst, and definitely he loves to explain. So thank you so much, Stanley, for joining us. I know I can't wait for you to explain. So please, let's start off first. Can you explain 15%? Why?
Good morning. It's nice to be here with everyone. The original, when he was introducing it, it's meant to encourage local refiners. We are getting to the point where the local refiners are saying that they are self-sufficient, that we can be self-sufficient in terms of producing petrol that will meet local demand. Dangote has come out numerous times to reiterate that, in addition to other modular refineries that that we don't really hear of. So I'm thinking, this is my own thoughts on the side of the government, that if they want to encourage this set of people that have said we can supply local demand, why don't we then bring out this tariff now and and see what the effect would be. And Dangote has made so much import into the impact into the market by what he has done with the trucks and promises So the government at the point is just saying we want to encourage local refiners. So that's where the policy is headed.
Now, Stanley, just following up on your submission, could this policy effectively protect local refineries, or without worsening fuel scarcity, or won't it lead to panic buying?
So typically, I expect the price of petrol to jump immediately because we are reactionary in terms of pricing in the country. So the prices go up immediately. There's a news. It takes a while to come down, even when the news, the news is reversed or there is another news that supersedes that. That's just a typical thing that happens in Nigeria. So I expect there to be a jump in price. I expect there to be a bit of panic buying because people are not sure of the direction that this will take. So I expect that is normal. But in a short term or within a week or so, we are going to get like direction, especially I expect that from the Dangote refinery, because they are going to be the major player right now within this sector. I expect there to be a clear direction from them and most stations to, in turn align with them, because they already had like a framework that they had brought out a few months ago for most stations across the country that we're going to buy from them. So I expect that to now start to take effect for most of the stations.
I'm also told that there's this new policy. There has to be a 30-day transition period, which is expected to end on the 21st of November 2025. The transition period will enable all markets and everybody to, get themselves ready and so on. Don't you think it's too short a time to introduce the 15% tax on importation? Don't you think maybe it's something Nigerians could have been told about, and then it gives enough time for them to prepare, possibly starting from January?
To be fair, I don't know what's the direction. I don't know who the advisors are. And I don't know what parameters were used in judging exactly the timing. They must have brought in their input for them to, I hope, and that a proper research and methodology was used in arriving at that 30 days. Yes, it's actually a short period. And if you look at it, we're going into the Ember month. We're in the Ember month already. We're going to the Utah season. We're going to Christmas season, where there will be a lot of travels, where there will be a lot of commuting from here to there, people coming in from around the world back into Nigeria. So there will be pressure on energy, especially petrol, for moving around. And if we do not handle this well, we might see a repeat of what we normally used to see back in the day about queues and all. But I hope that this is aligned properly so that it prevents disruption in economic activities.
Now, Stanley, many Nigerians are concerned about the inflationary results of this 15% import duty, the impact it will have on inflation and the cost of living, considering Nigeria's heavy reliance on petrol imports. Are these fears legitimate? And how can the government help cushion the impact in any way? Because the government is trying its best to reduce the cost of food and cost of living that Nigerians have been complaining about. And then the same government goes ahead to implement this 15% import duty on petroleum and diesel products.
So I would make this is not just valid, but very valid. Already, you've already seen, if you were to go out right now, from the news that I've heard across board, if you were to go out right now to most stations, they've jacked up their prices. So once that happens, the multiplier effect is that for every other item, people are going to, if this continues for the next few weeks, people are going to increase their prices, because once energy costs increases, petrol, everything changes. But we're not looking at the other side of it. So I'll still come down to the major player, which is Dangote. Dangote had come out to say that he had enough capacity to meet local demand by himself. That's excluding other modular refineries that we have currently. And then he had come out to say that I've gotten trucks enough that once you just buy from me, I will truck it down to you at no extra cost to the station. Just sign up and I will bring this to you at no extra cost. So if that is implemented and he makes good that claim, what it does is that it brings down the cost to whatever it is that he's giving at his gantry down to the stations. If he comes out to say it's 850, if you're saying it's at 850, the stations are getting it at 850, and maybe they can put a markup of maybe like 20 naira or 27 naira, maybe they sell at like 870 or something. So that's where everyone is now going to be looking towards, because the government effectively has not been able to manage the refineries that we've had. For the past 40 years, we've been dabbling and complaining about, turnaround maintenance and, refineries not working optimally and being down, and even the ones that have been promised over time that they've told us, they came out and said, these refineries are fully functional now, and we never saw them, bring out petrol from any of those places. So the government hasn't been able to manage refining by itself. And now a local player and other local players that are coming on board, because we even have the likes of BUA that is building their own refinery in Akwa Ibom. So if you put all this together, the future is bright for energy management. But for now, what we are saying is, would Dangote come out to make good the claim that he has, that he's going to supply to every local every local station that wants to sign up with him and at no extra cost to them? That would drastically improve like the pricing and stabilize it. And then we have know that the money that was spending we've spent in 6 months, we spent 4 trillion already on petrol, on importation this year. So we'll have that money saved within the economy and then can go around, and then we have like a better reserve and import its impact in naira too.
Well, this that means indirectly, without mincing words, to all our viewers, everyone should tighten their belts and get ready for a bumpy ride, because these ember months definitely will be tough. True or false?
So it's not direct. So why I say it's not direct is that, unlike before, if I was to say why I wouldn't say, so this is my view, and this is an enlightened view. Why I wouldn't say that is that, unlike before, where we had to import fuel and wait for, that this was coming, if they had increased, because we've had these issues before in terms of subsidy, when subsidy was taken out, and the oil marketers were saying they were not going to disperse. They're not going to disperse petrol to the stations, or that they're waiting on the government to pay subsidy before they let the trucks out, they close their tank farms and all that. So this is a whole different arrangement. Now we have a local refiner that is the biggest in Africa, #1, and has decided that he's going to increase his production capacity. Maybe they've already agreed on this, and that's why he came out to say they're increasing their capacity to 1.4 million barrels per day, making him one of the largest in the world, if not the largest. So if they are coming out to say this, and then he had brought out the modalities to say we're going to supply to every station, if that claim is made good, we would not have this issue. But if it is not, then we will have the issue. Where I have an import is that we're going to then solely depend on one company to fill this vacuum. And that's in itself, is a concentration risk. That if he doesn't make good the claim, we all suffer. If he makes good the claim, then we. So that's where I have a problem. We shouldn't have that concentration risk as a country.
After the break, we'll have more conversations. So stay with us. Stanley will be right back. Welcome back. Just in case you're tuning in and you've not heard, you need to buckle up, because fuel prices are about to soar. And the reason is because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has introduced a 15% import duty on petroleum. But our guest is here, and you could call him the online banker, but of course he's an economic analyst. And we're looking at the implications of the 15% import duty placed on the importation of a premium motor spirit, or fuel, as you would love to call it. Welcome back, Stanley. Let's go back to one of the major conversations before the break. I said, so this actually means, even though you've explained it, but this means that now coming for dirty December, those who are getting ready to travel between the long lines of the south to the east need to get ready to pay more. But do you think that this decision being made would have a long-term benefit? Even though we know that it's basically to boost the modular refineries, the local refineries, but what are the other long-term benefits?
Are there any positives?
Yeah.
So there are great positives to this. There is no nation where you improve local production that doesn't have benefits in terms of job creation and all that. But I just want to make a good a statement that I don't want people to panic, because for the first time we have a local refiner that has capacity. We have never had this. So we might not get to the point of December where people will panic, have that issue. So I greatly doubt that might happen. I think this logistics will settle itself in weeks, and we might not have that. That's on one side. But most importantly, if you check the fractional distillation of crude and the derivatives that accrue to that, you will see that it's not just petrol. What we are used to in the country is that we just get diesel. After diesel, kerosene and PMS that we have. We forget that there are a whole lot of derivatives from distillation of crude oil. There is polypropylene that you use for your plastics. There is Vaseline. There's lubricants. The value chain are enormous. And a lot of these components we still import. So we talk about the importation of petrol, importation of diesel, and what it brings. We forget that there are other items that we still import as a country that we still bring in, that takes our scarce resources out to other countries. These refiners have that capacity to have those things locally. By the time you localize that, what it now has, the effect it has on the naira and saving us on scarce foreign exchange is immense. So in the long term, we are supposed to see the impact on this, on the value of the naira, by the time we start to save the scarce resources. I just mentioned that the data said that we've, from January to around July, we are done 4 trillion. I don't know what it is as of today. Today is 31st of October. So I don't know what it is as of today. That means it has crossed that mark. So if you are putting all those monies together and it is flowing within the economy, it's going to flow within the banks. It's going to have the banks having more liquidity. It's going to give them the more capacity to be able to lend. It's going to give the companies that are that needed to open LC and all that to buy some of these products from different countries around the world. When they are importing these items, all they now need to do is just to truck it from somewhere around Lagos. So the import in the long term is immense. And I just see that because I am very bullish on Nigeria in the next few years. So I see this being one of the major drivers of economic growth in the next few years for the country.
Finally, Stanley, before we let you go, do you think this import duty will reshape or have any impact on the investment dynamics in Nigeria's downstream sector?
Yes, it will. So when you liberalize the system like this and you give incentives to local refiners, it's going to automatically boost their idea of generating business within the country. So that if my cost ordinarily, as maybe I have like a modular refinery and my cost is going to be way cheaper by I know that I'm not going to be paying this extra imports, people are then going to patronize you. What is just going to happen is that a lot of the people that import petrol and import diesel are going to shift their focus to local refiners. And I was reading through the directive from the government, and they mentioned just PMS and diesel. I don't know, they didn't state petroleum products. So it means that they are leaving some other parts open for, I don't know if that is the arrangement. But what it does is that it moves the focus to local refiners. And by the time it moves the focus to local refiners, it then means that they have more business to do, and they are encouraged to produce more. And as they produce more, they need to hire more. They pay you more taxes, so you get more taxes. they have more workers, they have benefits, and the multiplier effect is huge. So yes, it has good impulse to the local refiners.
All right. I know we said the final question, that is what Benga just asked, but just a quick one, 30 seconds. The impact on FX. Dangote was spotted in a video saying that people should start using their dollars now, because the way things are going now, your dollar will no longer be 1,545 to a naira. It will now crash. With this 15% import tax duty on importation of fuel, do you think it would in any way balance Nigeria's FX trade in terms of naira to dollar?
So if you check what we spend on an annual basis on importation of fuel, and then we can localize that, it is a no-brainer that it will have an impact on our naira, on the value of the naira. One of our major bills that we have across the CBN is importation of fuel, importation of this petroleum product, and not just fuel, but the downline. I'm not just talking petrol, I'm talking of other things that come with the fractional distillation of crude that we generally would import. So that should have its own effect. And well, we have other things that affect the naira, not just that. But yes, if he's seeing that from the top view, because what I feel is that when he spoke to that, probably he's looking at it from the bird view, that's from what he sees and his interaction with the government. But we wait to see how that has happened. Historically, we've not had things drop in sharply over the years. So if this happens, well, it's good news for you and I that need to purchase things abroad.
Good news indeed. Thank you so much, Stanley Onora, economic analyst, and the man who has explained everything you need to know. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for your time.
Now, good day.
I appreciate it.
All right. Well, that does it. But don't panic. There's fuel. We do hear that the prices, a lot of filling stations are starting to change their prices. So if you bought fuel for $9.20, you may end up seeing it at a different price this morning. But don't fret. Don't worry. Don't fear. The prices, as you heard from the economic analyst and others who have been talking, it will indeed balance up at a point in time. The question simply is, could there be more time? More time could have been given before the federal government decided to embark on the 15% implementation. Anyway, stay with us. The newspaper front pages will come up right after the breakfast headlines in a moment. Stay with us here on Breakfast Central.
Hello, welcome to Breakfast Headlines. I am Benga Aburawa. Former Vice President of Nigeria, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, has criticized President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration over the review of the presidential pardon list. In a statement issued and signed by Frank Shaibu, the Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications to the former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar described the move as an act of acting before thinking, while accusing the government of being reactive and lacking foresight. Atiku also questioned how the initial list of pardoned beneficiaries was compiled and approved, demanding accountability from those involved in the process. He argued that the episode reflects a recurring pattern of poor decision-making by the Tinubu administration. Meanwhile, the Lagos chapter of the All Progressive Congress has faulted the former vice president over his remarks. And let's now turn our attention to political developments. The entire Enugu State Caucus in the House of Representatives have formally defected to the ruling All Progressive Congress. The defection was announced on Thursday by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, who read the lawmakers' letters of resignations from the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party during plenary. The event was witnessed by the Governor of Enugu State, Mr. Peter Mbah. The defectors said they decided to dump their former political platforms due to what they described as unresolved internal crisis threatening the stability of the opposition parties. After the 2023 general elections, the Labour Party won 7 of the 8 House of Representatives seats in Enugu State. PDP secured 1. With this development, the APC now controls the entire Enugu caucus of the House of Representatives.
Alignment will bring more projects, more jobs, better infrastructure, and greater empowerment for our youth, women, and community. This decision wasn't made on impulse. It comes from the deep reflection and a burning desire to see our people rise above limits and take their rightful place in the national spotlight.
More trouble for the suspended national chairman of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, Shehu Gabam, and other officials, as the former state chairman of the party have unanimously thrown their weight behind their suspension and subsequent expulsion from the party. They spoke to newsmen in Abuja, saying that their actions bordering on financial misappropriation has a dent on the party's image and has eroded public trust on political parties and politicians. They also called for the immediate constitution of the party's board of trustees to strengthen internal checks and promote transparency in the management of the party's affairs.
We, the 36 state SDP state chairman from plus FCT, unanimously and fully supported the suspension of our former national chairman, Shehu Gabam, and others involved in financial malpractices and other gross infraction of the SDP constitution. These dismissed charlatans have become a present and imminent danger to the Nigerian democratic process as a whole by giving the shameful impression to the public by their shameless action that Nigerians cannot trust any political party or party men.
Nigeria has joined the rest of the world to mark the International Day of Care 2025, shining a spotlight on the vital role of care in building stronger families, workplaces and communities. The event held in Lagos brought together leaders, policymakers and industry professionals under the theme, Strong Nations, Strong Families, Strong Workplaces. The Start With Care campaign conveyed by lessons Oyeleye Adesina, founder of Care in Africa, urged both government and private institutions to invest in care systems that support caregivers, parents and workers across all sectors. Representing the Lagos State Government, Commissioner for Youth and Sports and Social Development, Mobolaji Ogundele, reaffirmed the state's commitment to supporting the vulnerable through the Lagos State Office of Disability Affairs and other social inclusion programs.
The commissioner of the country, and we know that has a lot of children, and I wonder if you can just touch on the aging and the child care infrastructure that exists right now in Lagos, and where do you see the gaps?
And I believe that is one of the reasons why we're all here. See how we can, again, continue to engage and have those conversations. The infrastructure that is there is already there, right? But what do we need to do moving forward, right? And we will bring it to, practical terms. One of the greatest challenges I have as Commissioner of Youth and Social Development is the influx of people coming into Lagos. Everybody wants to come to Lagos, as long as we are doing the green line, red line, tall buildings, developing areas and whatnot. People will continue to migrate in. All sorts of people. Those with good intentions, those with bad intentions. But again, it just goes to show that the population is increasing. The current infrastructure we have is not enough for the amounts of people that are coming in, right? And this is all cadres of people, including the carers, right? So that infrastructure is already there, but we need to rapidly continue to build it. I said something earlier on, as a government, we cannot do it by ourselves. But again, by the time we're in those rooms where those conversations are being held, conversations like this, then we can quickly make those policies. We can really quickly come up with programs. We can quickly come up with advocacy, right, in any way, shape or form to ensure that we all get it as a people. Because I said earlier on, it is not a government issue. It is a people issue.
Now move to Sudan, where the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called for an immediate end to military escalation in the country following reports that more than 460 people were killed at a maternity hospital by paramilitary forces. The killings reportedly occurred at the Saudi maternity hospital in El Fasher the last partially functional hospital in the city after Rapid Support Forces seized control from the Sudanese army. RSF leader Mohammed Hamdan Daglo has vowed to unify Sudan by peace or through war as accusations of mass atrocities continue to mount. The United Nations and World Health Organization have condemned the attack, calling it a violation of international humanitarian laws. Guterres urged both sides to halt hostilities and allow immediate humanitarian access to those affected. Two Senegalese journalists whose arrests sparked a national outrage have been released on Thursday morning. The arrest followed interviews with Madiam Diané, a France-based government critic wanted in Senegal for alleged financial crimes. Maimouna Ndoufai, director of 7TV, was detained during a live broadcast of the interview when armed gendarmes stormed the studio. Her release, along with that of other detained journalists, comes amidst growing calls to safeguard media independence and press freedom in Senegal. And that's all on Breakfast Headlines. Breakfast Central continues shortly. I am Benga Aboroa.
Thanks for staying with us. Front Page is up next. Joining us this morning is Chief Coordinating Officer, Sustainable Africa. He's here with us. I'm talking about
Sustainable Stories.
Sustainable Stories Africa. Wale Ahime. He's here with us as well. And you too can be part of the front pages of the newspapers by calling the number that you would find right there on the screen.
And the name of the Chief Coordinating Officer of Sustainable Stories Africa is Wade Ahime.
Yes.
You didn't mention his
No,
name.
I did. I actually mentioned
He
his
actually
name.
did. Good morning, Benga. Good morning.
I actually did.
Good morning, Joe.
Morning. Welcome. So, let's start off with the big story. Daily Trust has that story that's gotten everyone worried. The front page there. Fuel price may go up. Marketers are already singing. Major marketers of petroleum products yesterday warned that the introduction of 15% import duty on petrol and diesel could signal another round of fuel price increase. The approval of the duty by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is causing division in the downstream sector of the oil and gas industry, with some economic experts applauding the move as a welcome development aimed at discouraging importation of petroleum products and supporting local refineries. Wade, you've been in this industry, you've been there, you've done that and looked at it carefully. Let's start off with that first story before we read out the other stories. I like us to always go straight at it because we do not have much time on a Friday. What's your take?
Okay, so good morning, everyone. So first and foremost, I'd like to clarify a few things because I've been listening to so many analysts talk about the petroleum, the oil and gas sector. The first thing we need to understand is that it's made up of three components: the upstream, where you produce the crude, which has a linkage to what you call the downstream. The midstream, where you have storage and logistics. So the ships have to carry them, pipelines work in that space too, and so on. And then the second part is the midstream, where you have the refining. So products come out of the ground, you move them to refineries, they produce them, and then the major, aside from the refinery, the other major aspect of the midstream is storage and logistics. How do you move products from one point to the other? So that's why I said the midstream, where you have storage and logistics, connects to every part of the oil and gas industry. Then you have the downstream, where it comes into the petrol stations. Are you with me? And people can get them into their cars. So whether it's fuel or diesel, or whether it's petrol or diesel or jet fuel, and so on and so forth. So we need to first understand that. So when I continually hear in Nigeria, are you with me? Upstream, downstream, what is happening to the midstream? We have tank farms all across this country. Like I always say, and I'll state it again clearly again today, Nigeria's logistic and warehousing infrastructure that was built in between 1974 and 1977 and commissioned in 1978 was the state of the art when it was built.
Around the Papa
area. So what you have in Apapa is what you call the strategic storage system. So just in case there is a gap, you can import and then you can transfer through the pipelines. So there's Mosimi, which provides, there's Ilorin, there's Sokoto, there's Benin, and all these things, all these warehousing facilities and pipelines are connected to every refinery in Nigeria. Every refinery in Nigeria. Now that broke down, and what happened? Nigeria became more of an import nation for petroleum products. Then you saw the siege in Apapa. Now you have, and when people talk about warehousing, it's not just Apapa. There's Warri, there's Ogara, there's Calabar, there's Uyo, and the reason is simple: so that you can move products either through ship, which is one of the most common logistics what's it called, elements that you use to move products across the world. It's not just Nigeria. And then you have waterways in Nigeria. If you that's ships, vessels, and all. Why? So that you can take away so much vehicular movement, heavy duty vehicular movement on the roads.
Explosions and avoid
exactly, and things like that. Now, why do you now have the tankers that distribute? They are majorly supposed to distribute within localities. They don't need to do cross states, 1 day, 2 day, cross-country travels. And it just beats me every time. Now, I've heard Dangote refinery, 650,000 capacity.
Increasing now.
Let's leave the increase. That's a different thing entirely. I don't even want to talk about that. 650,000. So if you're working at optimal capacity, 95%, or let's even say the 100%. And for every barrel of crude, you have 73 liters of petrol that come out of it. Now, give or take, so you say maybe about 50 million liters of petrol will come out every day. Now, anybody who understands the theory of economics and why warehousing and logistics come in is because you don't produce and sell all you have for 1 day, because if you do that, then there will be a shortage. So if Nigeria is currently consuming 50 million liters a day based on the records, and we're producing 50 million liters from Dangote refinery and transporting them every day, let's also remember that some of this transportation movement or vehicular movement will mean that parts of Nigeria will not get these products maybe for another 24 hours. So what happens? Are there going to be shortages? Are you now saying that all those warehouses...
So that's why we have strategic reserves and tank farms.
Oh yeah, that's why you have tank farms in all those areas. So people can buy, store, sell. And I've always said, and I maintain, and anybody who is in the corridors of power or who has been in the corridors of power should challenge me. At a point in this country, petrol was not sold at the same price. In the 70s, I might have been small, but I do remember, because I remember when my siblings were in school in Ibadan and they needed to go and pick them. We bought a full tank. My father would tell my mom, we would buy the full tank of petrol in Lagos because it was more expensive to fuel it, to buy petrol in Ibadan. So why are we now all coming to say, oh, is to protect local refineries? And let me talk about local refineries so that people better understand. The largest local refinery is Dangote. Why is building a 200,000 barrel capacity in Uyo. Then we have Nigeria's combined refinery at 445. Now listen to all the other refineries, and they're all, first and foremost, they are all modular refineries. Now, when those refineries were built, and those who are in that space can correct me, those modular refineries was to help to refine crude to get out diesel. And it hasn't changed. But let me read out the modular refineries. Walter Smith, 5,000 barrels a day, operations since 2020. Edo Refinery and Pharmaceuticals, 1,000 barrel and 5,000 barrel. DuPont Midstream, 2,500 barrels per day in Edo State. Opak Refinery, 10,000 barrels per day modular refinery in Kwale. Niger Delta Petroleum Refinery, owned by Aradol, 11,000 barrels per day modular refinery. So what exactly are we talking about? Why are we not focusing on what the things are? How do we create policies that will bring in the investment, that would help to ensure that distribution, logistics, warehousing, and distribution is fully utilized? We're talking about pipelines that cuts across 923,000 square kilometers of Nigeria that has rotted away. And then we're saying, oh no, let's put more trucks on the road, roads that we don't have, roads that... There was an accident on, I was going for a session at 7 o'clock yesterday, and I left home at 6:55 because my time said 25 minutes. But I didn't get into the studio till 7:40. Why? Because the route I usually would take, which is connects from, turn back and come into this side. The traffic, I was just lucky that the traffic was just starting to build, so I had to turn back and come back and go and pass 7 Up and get to where I was going to. I'd like you to continue. These are the things we're continually talking about. So let's stop all these, is to protect local refineries. Which local refineries are we protecting?
So they're putting the cart before the horse.
The ones that Nigeria builds that is not working.
We'll come to you. Let's say Uju is calling us. Hello, good morning, Uju. Hello, Uju, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is Tinubu. You can call from Anambra State.
Okay, Uju, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to congratulate that man that comes from the room. That said he never celebrated the death of his enemy. And he told us that he fought Biafra. When God don't come now.
Unfortunately, Uju, we can't hear
the quality of your audio is poor.
The quality of your audio is not too clear. Sorry about that. Please try and drop call and call again. Thank you. All right.
So
as it is now, just to break it down, it means that in as much as there's 15% import duty, it does not favor Nigerians, as it were, or any local refinery except one, which is Dangote, and then eventually
So it favors the local refinery that can produce it.
They have capacity.
That has that capacity. That's my opinion. Because the Nigerian refineries, 145,000 barrels, are not working. We spent 10 years and over...
So maybe this policy should have come later when you have everybody on board.
All the refineries, then they can bring the policies. Is that what we're looking at? Maybe. It's like putting a cart before the horse.
Oh, yes. In my own opinion, yes, that's what
Fix all of them first.
Can you fix them? Sell them to those, I've always said that, sell them to those who can manage them and put it in. And you know, when people talk about refinery, just on our coast here, Côte d'Ivoire, the SAR refinery, which feeds Ghana, Côte d'Ivoire, and I think one other country. Do you understand? They've grown their capacity from 30,000 in the 60s to 100,000 now, and they're planning to grow that capacity. And we don't hear that they are not working. I know some of the transactions that were done for the swaps. Some of those refined products came out of African refineries, not Europe. African refineries. So what exactly do we need to do? And say, we can't import petrol. Is wasting our foreign exchange. First and foremost, are you with me? Crude oil transactions are priced in dollar. So whether Dangote buys in Naira in here, and every transaction that goes through the upstream are priced in dollars. So you will find the upstream majors, what do they do?
Still controlling the price.
No. When they do their budgets, there's a comment. When they do their budgets in dollars, they now translate it to Naira at that exchange, so that because they are going to do those transactions locally. So if we don't understand that there's upstream, midstream, and downstream, and we want to systematically, once again, kill the midstream, storage, logistics. Midstream is not only refining.
There's trade as well, which should be looked into. There's waterways.
And trade comes out also of refining. Aside from crude, everybody thinks that crude is the only thing you trade. No. You trade refined products. And just to add to it, because I think there's a call coming in. The last thing is that all the other derivatives that come out of the crude, maybe about 14 to 16 of them, what's happening to them? Why aren't they going into our industries?
And there's a lot to talk about on the fuel price. The marketers are actually talking right now as we speak. They're not happy about the 15%. And I'm worried personally. I've talked about my worry is the time. It looks too short. November 30 for implementation, just a few weeks.
And the petrol stations not
and
even
the petrol
waiting
stations are
for
not even waiting for
implementation.
implementation. The prices have gone up now as we speak this morning.
Oh, there are queues.
The queues
Some
have
don't
started.
have.
Some don't even have.
And those who have, of course, are going to...
They're going to hoard it and wait.
Well,
so why do we keep making the same old mistakes, knowing fully well how
there will be
peculiar
ripple
our
effects,
situation is? The ripple effects will now come down to transportation. People will be affected.
Well, before you go on, let's take this call from Samuel in Niger State.
Oh, we lost that.
I think we lost that caller.
All right, we'll go back to Daily Trust. Let's look at other stories. Now that we've spent more time explaining deeply on what to expect, especially with the new 15% import
price increase,
duty.
definitely.
Yeah, I think we're going to see fuel go to 1,000 plus, especially before
Possibly.
December. And it's already happening as we speak. Army redeploys 67 generals. Tinubu demands results. What APC can do with 2/3 National Assembly majority. Bauchi to create additional 29 LGA seeks NAS approval. And 8 die in Lagos-Ibadan Expressway crash. Cameroon's opposition leader flees. UN France warn against repression. Air travelers kick as NCAA introduces $11.5 security levy. I was going to talk about this 11.5 security levy as at on Tuesday, because that's an industry I'm very interested in, the hospitality industry. And the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace said $11.5 for 30 December. Anybody that's coming in, you have to pay this particular fee. But I don't want us to possibly dwell on it. I'd like us to look at this particular story. Army redeploys 67 generals. Tinubu demands results. Tinubu has said, crush insecurity. We had a security expert earlier join us, and we had asked, is it going to be the same old? What do you think? It's going to be different?
There must be a political will to crush insecurity. So you can redeploy all the security agents, apparatuses, and the heads and all. But if they don't see that commitment also, then there is a problem. You know, it's not by word of mouth. Oh, Joe, go and buy me bread. Where's the money? You know, so those are things that we need to think about.
So if you give matching orders, you need to also follow up with the support.
Oh yeah, you must back matching orders with support. And support is equipment, funding. And you've heard, it's not today we've been hearing. Army is poorly funded, even with billions in budgets and all. Some, we spend so much money on buying equipment. Some of them have come, some of them have not come. Have they been used? Have they not been used? Were they used rightly? And all these things are things that weigh even those within that space down psychologically. Okay, you will purchase the equipment. So when are they coming? Okay, people have gone for training. Sometimes people go for training. They come back 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Equipment hasn't come. They've forgotten the things they learned in training because they are not practicing it every day. So these are the realities. So we can say demands, you can demand anything from anybody, but you must there must be that willingness to back it with not just words, but with the resources that is required.
Very key. We'll go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue the front pages of the newspapers. Do what? Stay with us. We're right back. Bigger, over to you.
You're welcome back to the newspaper front pages. We still have our day here, and we're analyzing the headlines. Interesting. I believe we're looking at the Daily Trust newspaper.
Yeah, we have just one more story to go to.
Yes, and air travelers kick as NCAA introduces $11.5 security levy. I mean, this feels like a shakedown.
Well,
doesn't it?
When you are broke.
Because what's the meaning of security levy?
Okay, so
are the airport premises not meant to be secured?
It's interesting you said that. security levies to provide security at the airport, so that levy. But of course, when as an administration, you are broke, you either borrow or you create new ways to generate revenue. So you become ingenious in how you create those revenues. And something beats me. Across Africa, Nigeria has the highest ticketing price for
IATA. I said Nigeria's
our taxes too much.
tickets
so
are exorbitant.
let me break your heart. I traveled in May, and I looked at the breakdown of the ticket. The ticket, I flew, and because I wanted to fly African, I flew Ethiopian Airlines, and it cost me about 2.6 million. And all the other airlines, the minimum was in the range of 3.1 to 3.8. And then I said, let me look at the breakdown of the Ethiopian airline ticket. $1 million and 1,000 naira on that ticket breakdown was for fuel tax. So in 2.6 million, almost 1.1 million was fuel tax. It's ridiculous.
And the point is, what are all those monies used for? Just earlier this week, the FIRS said they declared a record revenue haul that they've made since 2023.
And then President is still borrowing.
What's the money used for?
The president has a lifeline of borrowings that is close to 21.1 billion. Why? You don't have money to fund anything. And also, for me, in my own opinion, what exactly are we funding? Why are we doing projects that are not going to generate new revenue? Or create social amenities that will create the opportunities to generate new revenue. You know, I've been hearing, I think over the news, electricity companies are going to recapitalize. Electricity companies, who are they working for now? Are they working for the states that have done the laws? Or are they still part of the federal government system? And that is just funny.
Well, I wish we had enough time.
Just one last thing. Meanwhile, the biggest debtor to these electricity companies is who?
The government.
The government.
Okay, I rest my case. Just come.
And they
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Wadi, for joining us. Thank you. We'll go on a break. Sam Nandi is here with us for the weekend starter entertainment update. Stay with us.
Thank God it's Friday. You know what it means. It's time for Entertainment Roundup with the best entertainment presenter in the whole of the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Sam Dandy. Looking very dandy and Ghanaian. How are you, Chale?
Maybe you could call me Kwame just for today.
Yes, you're looking very Kwame-ish.
Not very Kwame-ish. Let's get into entertainment. You ready?
We're ready to go.
This one's a trip, maybe kind of back memory lane. But Innocenti Dibia, popularly known as Tubaba, has marked 25 years in the music industry with a heartfelt open letter posted on Instagram. The now 50-year-old star described the milestone as deeply interwoven with the support of mentors, collaborators, fans, and former group mates. He reflected on his early days with the group Plantation Boys and credited key figures like Nelson Brown, Baba Keke, D1, and Eddie Lawani for giving his career and music broadly critical liftoff. In his message, he did write apart. He says, "Without you, my story would have been incomplete," seeing that he views this achievement as collective rather than individual. The letter also teased a celebratory event scheduled for November and this year in Abuja, cementing the anniversary as both personal and industry-wide.
I love that. I mean, it's one thing to give gratitude because there are some artists now that will say nobody paved the way.
Nobody paved.
They made themselves.
Nobody. Anyone come to mind while you?
No, that guy that used to kick people in his concerts with big boots.
Wow.
I don't want to mention names.
But do you have a favorite Tubaba song?
African Queen. Because my wife is my African Queen.
That was good. That was good. That was good.
man.
Now we have to say the same thing.
No, be careful. I'm not going to follow it.
You're in trouble.
No, there are many, so many. Two faces, super talented. There's for instance.
I like for instance.
There are so many.
I like the beginning of for instance. Obasanjo.
We got to move from that one. This one's a Gen Z musician, Ira Star, the top-tier Nigerian Afrobeat star, took to X, formerly called Twitter, to announce that she's working on her first book, describing the creative move simply with the post, "Working on my first book." Now, the revelation came amidst her recent global success, of course, breaking streaming records, carving a strong global presence, and this literary turn signals a broadening of her artistic identity beyond music. Now, while she didn't reveal further details, whether the name, the title, the content, or the release dates, fans and media people like myself honestly are speculating that the book could be a memoir style, maybe, you know, something that would explore her journey as a young female artist.
But she's still young. I mean, her story is still emerging. So what does she want to write about? Anyway, what do I know? I have a friend that wrote a whole book. You know, this Aspire to motivational book. You use ChatGPT to write a book.
Wow. Stop. But apparently, I did see where she said something about she had a popular note on what those what do they call those things again? Notepads, where people where people put, of course, like stories, and she said it was popular back in the day. So it might be a novel, like something entirely different from what we're used to.
Will you be buying the book?
I want to see what you.
The only book I'm interested in is the Book of Life.
will not be for our generation.
But you could still learn one or two.
It will be a book for the younger generation coming up, so they could learn.
Somebody buy it, read it, and tell us what.
I'll definitely do that. I have to do it.
Maybe it's not for maybe, but I want to presume it's for the younger generation coming who want to follow in her footsteps, and it's a good thing, by the way, if she feels she wants to document every single thing she did.
I'll be buying it. I prefer to read my Bible.
Stop. OBO is back in the news. Davido has expanded his Five Alive tour to include an additional headline show in Abuja on December the 14th. Now, this will be, of course, at Eagle Square, and this is following the kickoff in Uyo and other major cities, which has been a success. Of course, it's from his fifth studio album, 5, released in April, and it's reinforcing Davido's commitment to delivering grand-scale live. Now, if you saw videos from the one in Uyo, because a couple of my friends over here went there, but the Abuja leg, of course, adds to more success, and seeing that this is possible here in Nigeria, and fans are excited and seeing it bigger.
Sold out. I mean, I saw images of the Nest of Champions, the stadium, fully sold out. And
incredible.
It's a good thing we can have this sort of concerts in Nigeria, and I appreciate ours.
I like what Davido is doing, but let's go on a break. When we come back, I'd like to touch on what he's doing, which is quite significant for the industry as well.
I agree.
We'll go on a break. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. We're still round up with Sam Dandy. Over to you, Kwame.
Well, are we still going to go back to Davido? No?
No, you can move on.
That's all. Well, Black Bones is in the news. He has publicly denied a harassment petition filed against him, dismissing the claim as part of a broader sabotage campaign orchestrated by a rival in the music industry. Now, according to the statement, the petition launched by a woman identified as Jane Doe alleged cyber harassment, emotional abuse, and invasion of privacy, accusations that Black Bones describes as false and deeply distressing, stemming from a past personal relationship that ended amicably. Now, he has confirmed a cooperation with authorities and legal measures to defend his reputation while warning against weaponization of personal relationships for professional gain, all while reaffirming his focus on music. I don't know, man.
And focus on Odumodu Black.
That feud, right?
By the way, we saw Odumodu Black playing against the Barcelona legends in Abuja last week. He was running like Raheem Sterling. Let me just leave it at that.
Is that a good thing?
God knows where it's going to go. Don't ask me.
Let's move from that. American Grammy-winning singer Ciara, of course, Princess will sing, is in Lagos, Nigeria to participate in the 15th anniversary edition of the Lagos Fashion Week, accompanied by the Lagos State Commissioner for Tourism, Mrs. Toke Benson, and other government dignitaries. Now, the pop icon visits, of course, as part of this homecoming cultural tour, where she plans to engage with Nigerian designers, visit local art and fashion hubs, and celebrate Lagos, a status, of a creative capital. Now, what was interesting is in the video she posted, she admired, of course, Lagos and how it's transformed. She also did say the last time she said it was, the roads were not clear, but now the roads are better. But yeah, the 40-year-old did walk the runway yesterday, I think.
Yeah,
and she looked gorgeous.
She did strut her stuff. And funny enough, she used to be part of my crush way back.
Was she?
Back then, yeah.
She also went to Balogun Market. She got some fabric. And,
that was interesting.
She went to the Naked Gallery, and she said our roads, like you said, it depends on which road she followed. If she took Latif Jakande Road, the road that brings us to the office, that I have to dodge a number of potholes, she wouldn't be making such a statement.
But I think it's interesting to see American stars, would I say find roots or at least visit, African countries?
Yeah.
We're glad to see them come home. Can we say that?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have someone like Ciara. In the past, we've had so many celebrities coming to Nigeria. Back in the days when they used to have the Mega Jam concerts, if you remember, Mega Jam concerts.
Why don't I remember?
Here and there, from the likes of Coldplay, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Usher.
I remember Jay-Z and Beyonce visited Bukola Saraki, who was governor of Osun State then, Kwara State,
and they gave them the title.
Rice and Fanta.
Yeah,
and they was in front of
them. The pictures are online, you can find them as well. And they gave them conferred on them titles.
He has a street in Sean Carter Street.
But that has to happen again, right?
Well, I think we've grown. We've grown. Back then, there were a few artists who were very popular, who had hit mainstream, not just locally, but internationally.
Right.
But now we are global. We're global now.
Absolutely.
We're global now.
So there are a few things we really don't accept anymore with open arms. I mean, if we were in the past, Ciara was coming. I mean, it's a great thing, don't get me wrong, fantastic. We love her, thank you for coming. But I'm just talking about how we've grown as in terms of the industry. In the past, we would have said, oh my goodness, everybody was shut. But because we feel, hey, we're there already. We're there, so it's fine. It's good to have you.
And this would also have some level of influence on Nigerian tourism and also putting Lagos on the map, because she has millions of followers, and just watching her videos in Lagos might inspire some Americans that, wow, let's check out Nigeria,
in addition to Dirty December.
This December. Ghana, where you're from, Kwame, does a good job with the year of return. I mean, it's #1 destination and they make billions of dollars from, encouraging black people in the diaspora to visit.
You know what I would also like to see? When they do shows, that they have tours reach us here in Africa. I mean, Beyonce did incredible shows and made a ton of money from it, but there was not a single Africa leg.
Well, that has got to do with the fact that is Africa ready to have them? Only few African countries are ready to have them.
Johannesburg.
South Africa. Yeah, South Africa is always on the list for Coldplay, for Beyonce, for a few major artists.
You also need to think about the infrastructure.
Yeah, but West Africa, other parts of Africa, well, I would say not yet. That's another thing. That's another thing. That's another challenge. Well, I don't know if you have a final story, so we can wrap things up.
I thought that was my final story, except a little birdie said something else, but pretty much.
Join Sam Dandy at 4:30 to get the latest from what's coming. Entertainment, I can see a lot of updates for the entertainment story. But then again, I know that this weekend is going to be filled with... December is around the corner, by the way.
That's going to be a lot.
I was expecting that by now concerts would have been out. People breaking down. Is Whiskey doing a concert? Yaga.
Didn't Whiskey promise us a free show? I'm more concerned about that, I mean, since Davido has started to do, his own leg, I'm expecting...
It's not free, it's Davido.
Well, at least
it's affordable. Wheezy, is it?
I mean, see, Uyo is packed out. People were there. It almost looked like everybody found a way in.
Is Burner doing a free show?
As long as he ain't kicking nobody.
That's it on the show for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a fantastic week, Binga. We've had a
Yes.
long one. And we look forward to be back again on Monday.
But we're not going just yet. We have some piece of breaking news reaching us from Johannesburg, South Africa. Our correspondent Bongani Siziba is on standby. The news says Johannesburg traders, foreign nationals and local traders selling goods in Johannesburg's central business district protesting at the Johannesburg court alleging harassment and mistreatment by Metro Police, as well as members of the anti-migrant groups such as Operation Dudula and the Patriotic Alliance. These informal traders in Johannesburg, represented by the Socio-Economic Rights Institute, have taken the city of Johannesburg to the High Court. So there's reports of disturbances and some violence there. We'll cross over now to our correspondent, News Central correspondent, Bongani Siziba, who's on ground in Johannesburg, South Africa, to bring us live updates of this developing story.
Okay, we're not able to connect with Bongani right now, but I'm sure we'll do that in the course of our subsequent news bulletin, or better still, on the next program that's coming up, and that will be just here. In the meantime, thank you, Sam Dandy, for being here. Great job, well done. 4:30, catch Sam Dandy with the team as they bring to you the entertainment updates. Entertainment is live here at News Central at 4:30. My name is Joe Hansen. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. See you again on Monday.
Yeah.